A bipartisan Senate report says Russia targeted election systems in all 50 states in 2016. That's more than previously known. The report came only a day after former special counsel Robert Mueller testified before the House Intelligence Committee about his report on Russian interference.
During the hearing, Mueller warned the committee of the continued threat.
In your investigation, did you think that this was a single attempt by the Russians to get involved in our election, or did you find evidence to suggest they'll try to do this again?
No, it wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here, and they expect to do it during the next campaign.
After Mueller's appearance, Democrats sought to leverage his testimony by pushing for a vote on election security legislation. But Senate Republicans, led by Mitch McConnell, blocked that from happening. Joining us now to discuss that legislation is CNET senior producer Dan Patterson. Good to see you, Dan.
Good to see you.
So what are the Democrats proposing?
The Democrats have proposed two things, the FIRE Act and the SAFE Act. The FIRE Act would require that political campaigns contact the FBI and the FEC if they suspect they have been contacted by foreign nationals or suspect election meddling. The SAFE Act would require a paper trail, paper ballots verified for every voter.
So both Republicans and Democrats agree that the Russians meddled in the 2016 election, and perhaps even others have and will do in the future. So why can't both parties get on the same page? What do the Republicans not like about this?
So the Republicans have claimed that these bills are packed with all kinds of stuff that the Democrats want. The Democrats say that, hey, we've packed these bills full of anti-corruption legislation that the Republicans don't like. So we see that even protecting our democracy, some idea that is totally nonpartisan, is loaded with politics.
Of course.
I can still remember those hanging chads. The question becomes, are paper ballots really the only way to truly protect the elections? Because it seems as if technology might be at a greater risk.
Well, Vlad, one thing we do know from our own reporting as well as others, our elections are under attack by Russians and by others, as well as democracies all over the world. One of the best defenses we have against election meddling here in the United States is that our voting system is diverse. It is not unified, and we don't have federal mandates. So paper ballots could do a lot to help secure or at least assure the security of some votes. But the more we unify systems, the more vulnerabilities pop up. There is one other vulnerability to this, and that when we add these paper ballots, it doesn't really address the real attack, and that is against our faith and confidence in the democratic process. So what the Russians have really tried to do is not change one ballot or a bajillion ballots. It's to get us to think that this ballot may have been changed. So you do that by penetrating even just one system. So it is not that we need paper ballots, it's that we need more confidence in the election system as a whole.
Yep.
And then you add to that mix the President of the United States saying that polls are rigged, that
undocumented immigrants are voting.
Right. So when you add that, the President of the United States suggesting that the democracy that we hold dear, the election cycle, the polling that happens are hoaxes, that they're rigged. It's a recipe for what you're talking about here.
I'll add to that, Vlad. Many have suggested that there has been systemic gaslighting by the GOP of government's efficacy to begin with for several years, going back to the Tea Party. So we see this, and we also see this paralleled by many in the tech industry, including allies of Peter Thiel. In our own reporting, we see that there is just the gaslighting might be the best phrase, but undermining of the faith and confidence in the American electoral system and the structures of democracy.
And as you point out, so it doesn't matter if the Russians are in favor of one candidate or another, if they change one vote to another vote, it just matters that people's confidence has been eroded. Well,
that's right, Vlad. It is not about partisan politics. It's about faith and confidence in the democratic system.
You've always said it's about sowing chaos, right?
Chaos.
Here we are.
All right,
Dan, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
So before we go to a